more benefits of stories, and how to use them to maximum effect. While simply posting stories as you go about your day is a great way to help bring your followers along for a ride and show off what you're all about, this is only part of what makes stories so effective for increasing engagement. Because the real value of stories is in the way that they can facilitate communication. When you open up to your followers in this natural and organic way, in a format that feels very instant and current, you invite people to respond. And this is where you can potentially make a massive difference in the way that your followers see you. For example, let's say that you have a store selling hair products. You can post beautiful pictures of women's hair or well-lit bottles to your main feed all you like. But if you post a short video of yourself talking naturally to the camera about how you tried the latest product that just came in and your hair feels amazing, then that is infinitely more engaging. And notice that in this example, you never actually said what the product was. You just said something new that came into your store. This is the critical aspect, because it means that you have invited a conversation. That in turn means that you can sell directly to those leads. Now, of course, directly messaging every single person in order to sell a bottle of shampoo might not be the most time-efficient method of doing business. But if you imagine that this is a big-ticket item, perhaps tickets to a seminar you run for $1,000, then suddenly it's a lot more viable. Moreover, you can also do this with products that you aren't selling. Giving people tips throughout the day and doing so via message is a brilliant way to really establish some rapport with those people. It lets them feel as though they've just got a great insider tip from a mate, and that's going to drastically increase their chances of checking out your next post or of buying your product even. Announcements and sales. Another great way to make use of Instagram or Facebook stories is for announcements. Stories are displayed extremely prominently on most social media platforms, meaning that they're often one of the first things that users encounter when they land on the site. Not only that, but if you haven't posted a story in a while, then they will be notified that you have. This, of course, is an excellent way to grab their attention when they might otherwise not have been about to engage with your brand. An announcement can mean that you are introducing a new product or service, or it can mean that you are running a special deal. Either way, this gives you an excellent way to alert people and potentially to drive some sales. The best part is the nature of stories means that viewers will know they're not looking at a live post, that this sale is happening now. Instagram Stories for Business. When it comes to stories for business, the biggest platform you are likely thinking of is Instagram. Yes, it might have been Snapchat that started it all, but Snapchat remains a relatively obscure option that only has so many users and it appeals to a very specific niche in the market. Instagram, on the other hand, is the second largest social media platform in the world, second only to Facebook. But while that might lead you to think that it would be Facebook that would be the ideal choice then, the fact that Instagram is initially designed from the ground up to be a visual platform makes a huge difference here. People use Instagram because they want to see images and videos. That makes it the perfect place to share stories and to promote your business in a visual manner. It gets better too, because this is the ideal time to start using Instagram Stories for business. Like any type of story, Instagram Stories have the potential to increase your engagement and to raise trust with your audience. At the same time, though, they are also very much on the up and up in terms of user base. How to get started with Instagram Stories for business. Instagram has a relatively straightforward interface on mobile, which is the only option for sharing stories. That said, it does tend to hide a few options in plain sight, which can make it difficult to figure out the very first time. To find your stories, you might be looking for a button that says Stories, for instance. Instead, though, you'll get there by swiping right from the home screen or by tapping the icon in the top left that looks like a camera. You can now take a photo from the following screen by tapping the shutter button or make a video by holding it down. Videos can be up to 10 seconds in duration. There are other options too. You can stream live, you can create a boomerang, you can super zoom, you can rewind, and you can hands-free video. If you prefer, you can pick an image from your camera roll in order to use a previously created video or picture. If the photo is over 24 hours old, then a sticker will appear on it with the day, month, and year. You can opt to simply remove that if you so wish. Just drag it onto the trash icon. Likewise, you can also add face filters to your stories. This works like the now famous filters on Snapchat in order to apply amusing accessories or to warp your face in a number of different ways. Swiping left and right will similarly apply extra filters to the entire image that can change the colors and look of your photos and videos. Tap anywhere on the screen to bring up a text tool and start typing. You can also change the size, color, and shape. Use the @ symbol to tag other accounts. Tagging other users is a good way to get noticed by them, which in turn can result in some free publicity should they decide to give you a shout out in return. You can also add a sticker that will provide your location. This can help you stand out in search and is also a great way to show off where you are if you're posting while traveling. Something that a lot of brands and influencers will do in order to let their viewers live vicariously through their travels. This is also a fun way to shout out a business that you're visiting, perhaps as part of a sponsorship. What's even more useful is the hashtag. Simply write with the hashtag symbol on your story, and it will work just like hashtags across the rest of Instagram. Now your story will be shown in collections of other stories using those hashtags, creating the opportunity for new users who share that interest to discover your content. Instagram now also lets users search for stories this way, so it's important that you know how to use them well. A quick primer on smarter hashtags. Hashtags are extremely powerful tools for bringing more people to your main page, your photos, or your sponsored post. A hashtag simply tells Instagram what a photo is about, which in turn means that it can then categorize it and let people search for it. The fact that you can now add hashtags to stories, therefore, is somewhat game-changing, and it means that you can help your stories to stand out and promote themselves in their own right. The key, though, is understanding how to use hashtags to your advantage. A mistake is to presume that the best hashtag is the most popular one. Fun fact, the most popular Instagram tag is love. In fact, though, this strategy will simply mean that your post gets buried before it has any chance to shine. By the time anyone has searched for your post with the hashtag selfie, 1,000 other people have already posted the exact same thing, and as such, your post is now nowhere to be seen. That said, of course, you don't want to choose a hashtag that no one is looking for either. This is why the best strategy is most often to go somewhere in the middle and to aim for a hashtag that has around 30,000 posts a day. FAQs. The question sticker that you can add to stories on Instagram is a brilliant feature as it denotes that you are open to questions. This Ask Me Anything story is a great place for you to clear up any misunderstandings around your products or services, as well as to help encourage people to make that final decision to buy. The sticker provides a small chat box where users can type up their questions, and even if an answer doesn't lead to a sale, it can be excellent for market research purposes. What aren't you communicating about your business as clearly as you could be? What are people interested in learning more about? Introduction. There is a saying among marketers that storytelling is SEO for the human brain. Of course, when this saying was first coined, it had nothing to do with social media stories. But perhaps it should have. Social media stories, in fact, have huge potential to engage audiences, to build authority and trust, and to generally boost your brand. Not only that, but they're also gaining in popularity all the time. Social media stories took the internet by storm, and they're not showing any signs of slowing down now. In this training, you will learn precisely what a story is, how to create them, and how to have huge success using them to grow your audience and increase brand loyalty. 4 out of 5 major brands report using stories to promote themselves, and that should tell you something about how big this is going to be going forward, how to put this all into action. So now you know all the basics. You know how to set up your social media accounts for stories. You know how to post them, and you understand the benefits of the medium and why you should be using it. Now what's left is to understand how to put all this into action so that it works together with synergy. How do you integrate your stories into your campaign? An example. Let's take an example of a fitness brand. This fitness brand is the personal brand belonging to a sole trader that runs a blog and that sells personal training online. That seller is now going to use their social media platforms and their stories in order to reach the largest audience possible and engage with them on a deeper level. Start by creating your logo and your brand. Identify your buyer persona, the exact person you're selling to, and your mission statement. Then create a logo and site design that expresses this. Create a blog and post here every 2 days with relatively short 500-word blog posts. These aren't particularly SEO optimized, but aimed rather to work well on social with strong, eye-catching titles. Next, you're going to set up your social accounts. Try to get your company onto as many different platforms as possible and to use your company name and logo on every single one. The objective is to be everywhere and to be as consistent as possible with the image you are putting forward. You will then post to those social accounts regularly, making sure to provide real value as you do. It's these actions that will help you to start to build a following that views you as more than a simple product manufacturer or service provider, but as a brand with a set of ideals and a real mission statement. By doing this groundwork, that's when you can make a real impact with your social media stories. That's when you'll have an army of followers who actually care what you do with your day. who want the inside scoop and who are excited by your new releases and your Q&As. Post to stories once or twice a day, maybe more if you can, and you'll remain in their notification trays and on their minds. Respond to questions and take the time to interact with your audience. If you can do all that, then thanks to stories and strong branding, you will have an audience that is more highly engaged and involved than 90% of audiences out there. Follow this up with the occasional story that promotes a product or that gauges interest, and you can convert some of those warm leads to buyers. And that is how you employ stories to their fullest. Good luck. It's time to write your own success story.